right, good morning. Market opens here just under a minute. Have a nice big gap up on the futures, about 0.75%. It's a bull market, as they say, ladies and gentlemen, and so let's treat it as such. Hey, what's up, Rob? I'm a lot more well rested. Yeah, I feel pretty good. Of course, we didn't go to bed late last night either, so that helps. But yeah, I feel pretty good, especially with markets up there sitting at highs. So this time change does put me in a bit of a time crunch, though. My kids have to leave for school between 7:45 and 8, and it's 7:30 right now. So I don't have to take them to school most days, but some days we'll have a pretty short session here. Other days we'll be able to spend more time, but not today. Well, today we can. We're not. I think the wife's taking the kids to school today, and so we got our open. And gold's lower and everything else looks to be higher. Big gap up this morning, 0.76 for the NASDAQ. You guys, INMD broke out of that. Yep, we broke out of that pattern right there. How's our JD? It looks like it wants to go up. Come on. JD is up and is breaking through my buy point. Really early, though. I think this is I don't know. It feels like it's going to be a good day. Nothing's guaranteed in life, especially in the stock market, but that's a pretty good gap up. Let's go check out the global watch list. Take-Two Interactive leading the board here. Okay. That is not Kiwi. Earnings aren't even out yet. Race for the gap up. That's got to be earnings. Looks like it is. What the hell, program? Killing me here. What the hell? Sorry, I gotta close this and reopen it. It's just too jittery. It's jumping all over on me. Speaking of things moving, Litecoin's doing really well, leading the day here today in the cryptocurrency market. I may need to restart my whole computer. That was low. That was slaggy too. It's like Litecoin breaking out there from there's a little minor double bottom pattern right there. It's a tiny guy. Then a handle, and then a boom, explosive. Nice big explosive move. All right, hopefully this will work a little better now. Tron. I don't know. It kind of gave up its leadership. It was leading for a while there, and then it just kind of lazily gave it up. It hasn't gained it back. EOS vying for leadership, though. EOS and Litecoin both look like they're going for it at this moment in time. Ethereum's coming up there, too. Not sure if Bitcoin's going to try out. Bitcoin Cash looks like it gave up leadership. It's not doing much. It was. Looking a little better here. Maybe it'll try to pop up with the market. Yeah, I'm not so sure about Tron, though. All right. All right, so looks like you guys leading the actionable list here today with a big gap up here to 19. Looks like we're kind of on our way to refulfilling that very large run from a couple months ago. Hold on a minute. And Rob, your INMD, second on the list here, first in actual stocks. I think if you didn't get back in that, you probably should. It's looking really good. I know earnings are coming up. That always sucks, so you have to either hold through that and risk that, or just wait till tomorrow. But in a normal situation, that would be buyable. So this whole base right here, hopefully, you mentioned you got stopped out. I think it was here. May have played that one a little too tight to the chest. May have. I'm not sure what your entry and what your stop was on that, but this was a nice pattern. Nice pattern right there. All right, so Momo trying to break above our trend line here. Been eyeballing Momo recently. And a good volume on Friday. You can see there we're above average volume. You mentioned this was going to be a pocket pivot. Yeah, it definitely was a pocket pivot. Okay. So good job from Momo. INMD holding up their highs pretty good. JD looks like it's trying to hold a breakout. I think we have quite finished that 5-minute candle. And it was pretty good volume. Not the best, but definitely really good. We'll see if it holds up here. That could be good for a breakout if it goes. DocuSign, been very strong since breaking that larger declining trend line here. Very strong. And trying to break out here into all-time highs, 68.35. That could be a really good one. We appear to be in almost full-fledged bull mode. Not quite full-fledged bull mode, but almost full-fledged bull mode. We talked about Regeneron the other day, getting above that little pattern there. Chopping around the highs here this morning, firmly above it. Although earnings look like they're tomorrow before market. So today's your last day to do anything before earnings. May just have to wait on that one. Goose, coming into a winter season, may give it a nice boost up there. Earnings are coming up in about a week or so. Hi, Ethan. Transports back up above the trend line once again. That's good. ESNT, CWCO, a new one. Looking pretty good up there. HEI. This thing has just had the biggest run, like for the past several years here. So another test back to this 40-week moving average or 200-day moving average. I think this thing could get back up to recent highs there. Restoration Hardware up above that trend line. Look at all these larger trend lines that are getting broken. All these, I have a list for this. I don't keep up on it good, though. For long-term turnaround plays, JD, not quite one of them. Long-term turnaround. DocuSign is going to be a longer-term turnaround. Regeneron maybe, but that's way far away from a entry level for that particular setup. So Pi in the runnings for long-term turnarounds. Not my traditional setup, though. I won't include it. Atlassian doesn't quite meet the length criteria for long-term turnaround either. Skyworks definitely long-term turnaround play. Court meets criteria. Constellation Brands, that's on the bench. Kiwi, that's supposed to be a long. It's not quite the same setup. Look at Salesforce the other day breaking its. This is not a long-term turnaround, but this is a shorter-term trend line turnaround. Pretty good move there. Take-Two Interactive, SLV, Constellation Brands. We already added that. Booking, this one worked. But all these worked. All these long-term turnaround plays worked. Cool. So if you check out that long-term turnaround list, we got DocuSign, which is almost back at the highs, which that's pretty much the run that you want. Baba has yet to turn around. This one we've been waiting for a while. So this one's been basing for a little over a year, squeezing into it. So I've got an alert level there. Could maybe lower that a little bit. That seems okay though. Fortinet, pretty sideways here, coming right up to that. Could blast off really nicely. And that's right about on the trend line too for these long-term turnaround plays. Goose, that's getting up on the trend line. Restoration Hardware already broke down there. Court broke, still down a little bit lower. Maybe that'll break up on earnings. That is I believe that's, no, it's not quite a cup and handle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, not quite a cup and handle. Constellation 2-year base hasn't broken yet. Booking.com already broke and it's just working higher. Light, similar situation, just broke a couple days ago. And ACB or ABC, this one has not turned around yet, but it's getting there. Check out some of these 5G plays. See if anything here is doing anything. Nasdaq up 0.87% now, extending its lead from this morning. Momo looks like that's a 5G play, and trying to break out of that that triangle. INSG. Keys. Our buddy Keys. AVGO looking pretty good. Kind of a longer term symmetrical pattern there. NVIDIA, something we haven't looked at in a while, trying to bounce out of here. That's not looking too bad. Hey, handsome boy. Looking great. There's Skyworks. Rocketing out of that range right there today. For whatever reason today, too. I'm not sure why. INMD, yeah, let's go check that out. In at 29.50, set a stop at 29.74. Feel like you have those numbers inverted, maybe. Your stop is above your entry point. You got it. 29.50. Oh. Yeah, you played that wrong. So here's the thing. Your entry was actually really good. Entry was really good. You have to give it some wiggle room, Rob. You just have to. It's just the way that it is, especially with this setup right here, because after you entered on this candle, by the time this happens, you already have a range. At a very maximum, I would have put my stop here, about 29.22. At a very maximum, you want to put it under the low of the whole consolidation. Excuse me. Now, that's at the very minimum. Ideally, you want to give it more room than that. So this is, I believe this is a cup base. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, this is just a consolidation. 32%. Yeah, ideally you want to give this more room than that. Now, this is an IPO base, so it's a bit unconventional. There's no shape to an IPO base. There's no like major no extraordinary rules to playing an ICO base in terms of a stop loss. Now here your better stop would have been under here, which is 14%, which is unsustainable. That's not very good there. But yeah, so at a minimum, your stop should have been here. Sometimes that gets undercut too. Sometimes it doesn't. But you had a really good entry there at 29.50. So at that point, you basically just take like an account maximum loss of basically about 8% or so. And you want to see where likely support should come in. So I would think support should come in here about the $28 level. And I feel like that probably would have been a pretty good stop area. Just for you to have on there. I think that would have been good. You do have to be prepared to take a loss in order to make some gains, and you just witnessed that. It'll play around a little bit. But if you play it too tight, you're asking to get stopped out. The only way that you really play a stock super tight like that is when you already have a large profit and you're extended. Then you start moving that stop up because you're in profit and you don't mind getting stopped out. You mentioned keeping a little profit. That's no profit.
James, let's go. Come on, we gotta go.
James.
Come on. Shoes and socks. It doesn't matter. We're gonna be late for school. You can finish it.
Bye, babe. So yeah, you want to give it some more wiggle room. You want to give it room to breathe. It's kind of like, meeting a girl that you like and just being with her 24/7. Eventually, she's just going to crack and throw you out. And that's what these stocks will do, because they're hunting for liquidity all the time. You always have institutions that want positions and stuff like that. So you can't be right on its ass. You've got to give it a little bit of wiggle room. All right, a little more normal market. Now we got some sellers coming in here, moving Carvana down, DR Horton down, Twilio down, Tesla's neutral, Coop's neutral. So far doing pretty good. INMD pulling in a little bit. Market up 0.75. So far so good. What's up, James?
Where'd you find that one?
Doc, you getting on with that program here. I think this one could be, it's not really at a buy point, but the scalloping action that is going through right here is pretty healthy. That's a little bit too close to the high, that little mini channel. Maybe it'll come back down and get to the bottom of this channel. Sometimes these oscillate like this. So we'll see if that's gonna do that. Good volumes this morning though. See if I can get rid of the overnight session. I usually like to have that on here, but yeah, of course you can do that to me. Oh, look at that. No, that's really good volume. That's breakout level volume right there. Getting right to that channel though. Yeah, see, on that situation, Rob, whenever you get that feeling, it's like when you get stopped out sometimes, the market is just taking advantage. You can get back in. I'm not too mad at that, to be honest with you. Now this is a 30-minute candle here, so I'm not sure what time frame, but look at where this candle closed. It closed above the upper half of the range. It's in like the top 40% of the range. It's a very bullish candle on very elevated volume. That is a bottom. There's no other way to interpret that, in my opinion, other than a bottom. Now, it can go lower. You could interpret it as a bottom and it not be a bottom. That's the thing. But in this situation, because it never quite came back to the breakout point, which was this red line right there. That was the actual breakout point from prior. It never actually touched it. Never touched it. But yeah, you want to put these stops. Actually, look at it. This 30-minute chart. You probably would have liked to put your stop down here at that red candle right there. And you let it play around. And then what happens is once it pops up, I would argue even a little bit further than this. Yeah, I'll look at the 5-minute chart in a second. But once it's up further than this, say it does break up on earnings, then you can move your stop up to here. Right there. And if it continues to act well, you can move your stop up, even to here. And then you can start moving it up appropriately. But you still want to give it room. You want to picture like being a spy in a movie. You want to trail it, but you want to give it enough room so it doesn't know you're there. I think that's what happened here. Your stop was just too close, and they saw you, and so the mission was over. Hold on. Yeah, exactly. Mission terminated. But yeah, so in that situation, Rob, I said we go to the 5-minute. So let's go to the 5-minute. Sometimes the 5-minute is good, sometimes it's detrimental, and you kind of have to. That's all we get. There we go. Okay, so here's the whole thing. So you're a little nervous by that point anyway. Yeah, you still have a very similar candle right there. That very elevated volume on the 5-minute. You do have this one here too. And that one really didn't do anything for you, unfortunately. See, what's different about this candle than this candle was just chopping around, and then you just had a lot of volume come in. It's buying pressure, obviously, where the candle closed. But they must have just saw some liquidity there and just picked it up. But it was kind of a non-event. This was an actual event. This one cascaded lower and culminated in a very large candle. That's the signature of a bottom. See, this one right here, not so much. This one just started to break down, was elevated volume, so that was kind of your breakdown candle, your breakout candle, if you will. And then it just kept going, and then boom, culminated in a. That's funny. Never seen a chart like that on my screen in my life. That's hilarious. Culminated in a big spike down, and look, even on the 5-minute, you closed in the top half of the range on very elevated volume. So that is, again, by definition, a bottoming candle. And then you start rallying here, which is pretty good. You may have been a little bit too shy to get in here if you didn't buy here and you're here. But then once you retest here and have a higher low, that's usually a good sign that you're at least able to get back in. Even with this higher volume candle here too, that's a little bit scary. But and then now we're kind of way up there. But yeah, if you get wicked out on a low like this, I don't mind getting back in, especially with as tight as you were on this one. I don't mind that at all. You're not risking much. You're not risking anything essentially. And then what do? Is you get back in, you put your stop under this low. Not right under it, but a little bit under it. maybe 29.25 or something. You got to give it a little bit. Losing 20 cents isn't too bad when you're going for $5 or $6, right? Your risk reward is really good in a situation like this, especially because you're still above the breakout point. So in this situation, your entry was really good. Your stop was too tight, and then you also didn't re-enter. So you have a couple of different lessons. Now, I would say probably the best thing you did is this appears to be a very good quality company, and I think that's the first thing, is that you took a position in a good company. I think that was kind of one of the first good things. The second good thing was acting on the entry. You just needed to do one more good thing right, and you would have been okay. One of those two, either re-entry or just have made your stop a little bit more manageable to begin with. All right, Take Two still leading the percentage race there. So there's the actionable list. All right, JD looks like it's firmly through with excellent volume. It's going to rest at some point. Could be an entry opportunity for JD.com now. There was some good China trade deal news, so that's good. Hey, what's up, Eli? How you doing, buddy? So JD over our level here is only up a couple percent, so that's still pretty good. You can see it's been stuck in this this large pattern here for a long time, about 20%. So that would work as a potential cup type of a base. Wouldn't be a double bottom. Almost as just a general consolidation. But breaking above highs like this is pretty good. Good volume. Is that today's volume or is that yesterday's volume? Did I recover? Recover from what? My party? Oh, that's good volume today. That's really good volume today. Yesterday was 10. Friday was 10. Today's already 4.5. We're only 30 minutes in. That's really good volume on JD. So, yeah, I don't know what I was sick with, Eli. I think when you heard me last, it was just super dry air here in Arizona with the cold. Just massively dry air. Plus, I think I was still recovering from the kid's birthday party, getting my butt kicked doing that thing. I got to clean up from that this week. It's like a month build-up process and then a 2 to 3 week tear-down process. So that's probably that would be one of the tops on my list right now is JD. A couple of good things right now with the market making good moves. I think we're in a pretty good spot here. Looking for something to make a list on. JD with earnings, yeah, there's always earnings coming up. 11:15 for earnings. So, but today's already shaping up to be a pocket pivot. No matter which way you look at it, today's already going to be a pocket pivot. You can see it in the volume. You go back to prior 9 days, 10 days, and it's not even a contest. Unless everyone stops trading JD for the rest of the day. All right, come on, you piece of garbage. So your highest volume candle's right there. So the volume should double throughout the rest of the day, and then that would make this a pocket pivot. That was a pocket pivot. That was a pocket pivot. That was a pocket pivot. So we got lots of pocket pivots in JD up here. Lots of accumulation signals. And, yeah, we're pulling back here a little bit. Let's see how it handles that. But so far looking okay in JD. Maybe some of these Chinese stocks would be good. But does depend a little bit on what the trade war actually does. ENDP, we've been following this one with lots of massive pocket pivots. This is that pharmaceutical opioid company. Curling up here, has earnings coming up though tomorrow before market. So you're going to have to face the executioner or wait until tomorrow to see if they're going to make a move. But they've just been under massive accumulation up here. Not sure if that's short covering. Could be short covering because just the huge move they've had over the past couple of years. But could be short covering. But I don't know. They're kind of forming bases, so it looks a little bit more like accumulation. And I'm going to get going here in a little bit, guys. Got to take a little bit of a break before get ready for the other program. Iffy doing good. Pi doing good. Constellation, not really. Skyworks, spectacular. ESNT. BEP continues to go for highs. That thing's not slowing down, it looks like. Market's still at 0.72, not giving up anything. Hopefully it holds like that the rest of the day. Disney bouncing off 200. Light getting above a long-term trend line. That's very good. Riding Light down. Booking dot, yeah. What if this is a cup? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a cup. And I believe it even has a handle. Actually, it would be a flat base. It's only down 8%. So it's a cup and handle with flat base percentages, which, I don't know, you'd think would be pretty bullish. Earnings are coming up 11.7, so only in a few days. Keep an eye on booking. It lands in, HEI taking it on the chin right now. We'll see how that goes. Not looking super hot at the moment. ZTS Winnebago's been just gangbusters. Real Page, Court. Looks like we're seeing a little bit of selling right now. Have to see how the market holds up to it if it can. Actually, it looks like right now we started out the day with only gold being red, and now we're almost half red. So we'll see if we sell off or don't. The indexes so far have just been going straight up, so you want to give things some room here. You don't want to be too tight. I'm not just saying that because of you, Rob. Just generally, you want to give it a little bit of wiggle room here. They're likely to play with things as things are starting to look really bullish. They're not going to let it go super bullish yet. They probably got more money to invest. And Twilio firmly lower on that one. That one doesn't look like a recovery whatsoever. So, all right, guys, I got to get out of here. Yeah, so let's see how the market handles today. I mean, so we're in highs in the NASDAQ. You know, I really try not to argue with the bull market too much at all. Let it chop up, let it do some stuff, but I don't care how it looks unless it breaks. Don't count your eggs before they hatch there. The market's doing great. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here for the day. Have a good one. I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe.